it's kind of interesting.
I thought, wow, you have a really good relationship. Folks are coming over to check it out.
Which one is funny? They are. Right, yeah.
Is he accessible?
Yes, he also uses
I'm pretty sure that was
No loitering. No loitering.
Will we speak after this? Okay. What I would visualize is that the
and then, of course, the public will speak. You know, we dealt with
yeah. Well, I'd like to sit down with you and visualize it. I can visualize it.
It's a really great event.
And as long as we have what's his name, Steve in the audience to answer any questions and call. Okay. Well, I'll be around all next week, and I'll Paul's been on training, so maybe we can pick a date next week just to spend a little bit of time.
I went out. They gave me the public notice, so I
Just as a thinking part.
Yeah. Well, I don't want to be presumptuous. I want to take your and advice if you think I'm the one to do the speaking, because I'll be happy to do it, but I don't want to force myself into
No, I just put it on because it's really just about these issues are supposed to be, but only the staff part of this. Of course, we can see there's staff people that say, yours is attack all these others, the wides,
Yeah.
we'll smooth it out.
Okay. Yeah, no, I'm not even going to try to learn that.
Well, I'm going to call it after that.
Yeah, but you know, one of the things that you look at, how many years has school been on the passion? I mean, the same people have done it, but look, we're talking about a community of 12,000 people and only 10 people. Really? I mean, that is, yeah, they would do it. Yeah. Hey, Deborah. Hi, Gary Bird.
How are you, Carrie?
Nice to see you.
I know who you are.
Yes. You know Carrie?
I do.
But we had no relation. Just the
Are you
bird.
sure?
Yeah.
Well, maybe way back.
Yeah.
Actually, my name was Rose. I hired my father's mother was Irish. She prevailed upon me to change it to the Irish way, so I'm really not excited.
Well, I'll tell you, in my case,
Cousins in Minnesota that have I only have one that my
How do you spell it?
Well, in German. C-U-R-C. Okay.
originally was French. It was Le Berg.
B-E-R-G?
B-O-U-R-G-E. And the Normans brought it to Ireland in the invasion, and ultimately it was Berg. In my case, it was kind of missing. My grandmother, who was a Berg, the maiden, married a Berg. They were both from Ireland, and they met here in the United States. It didn't require much changing of station.
I'm going to Ireland this summer. I'm so excited. I've never been there.
Oh, really?
Unbelievably beautiful, and the people are really friendly. They like the Americans, and they're a lot of work.
Yeah.
Well, my former husband was going with us, so my son and daughter-in-law and the two kids, grandkids, and then my former husband was coming. And I'm Penrose, him. I just never changed my name when we got divorced. I kept Penrose because I thought Deborah Penny was But anyway, he has all the history because he's been there and he knows where everybody's buried.
Ask everybody to take a seat.
You know, they have memories that go back centuries. It's pretty too.
Thank you and good evening. Thank you everybody for coming tonight. Can everybody hear me okay? Welcome to our second ever State of the City address. So I want to thank everybody for coming. I particularly want to thank city staff for all your hard work all throughout the year, especially for tonight to put this together and to help make this possible. This doesn't just happen by accident, and our staff work hard all the time. Times we see them and times we don't to help operate our city, and they help make us great. So thank you, staff. And I'd also like to thank and introduce the City Council. Vice Mayor Ruddick is here, along with Council Members Penrose and Muller, and I know Councilmember Frazier couldn't make it this evening. But our City Council, all of us, are dedicated, hardworking champions for our community. We're responsible for the successes together. So we work together for the community, and it's my honor to be working with the City Council. We're the champions and advocates that when you see us at a City Council meeting, that is just a glimpse of the work we do. And we work in collaboration with other communities and other committees to operate our city. There's no denying that we're on a united front with the shared goal of making Half Moon Bay the best it can be. So thank you, City Council, and again, I really appreciate working with you. We're working well together, and that's an important accomplishment for us. Tonight's plan, 3 things. Highlight our accomplishments in 2015. Review projects and priorities for the coming year that we're going to focus on in this year and beyond, and then have cupcakes. 2015 was an amazing year for Half Moon Bay. and we're positioned for an even better year in 2016. I spoke with the Chamber of Commerce this morning, and they have 3 things they want to highlight about the city. First of all, they are taking full credit for the great weather and for Mavericks this weekend. And I want to share that credit with them. But 2 things I want to highlight. The Chamber implemented, related to the state of the city, the Chamber implemented a midweek strategy to increase hotel stays. And because of their efforts in working with the city to do that, they've increased city revenue in excess of $250,000 for midweek hotel stays. Another thing I want to highlight is the KEEP program, Coastside Emergency Action Program. No other city has an organized program like Half Moon Bay's. So it's so noteworthy that it was recently used as an example of what to do by the Red Cross in meetings in Washington, D.C. recently. There's no denying that we're an amazing community, and we love to live here. We're known around the world, and that will be pretty obvious tomorrow during Mavericks, when people come to visit. Our financial status. Half Moon Bay is financially strong. We have a balanced budget, and our reserves are fully funded. Our city is finally staffed back at the pre-recession levels. Think about it. We cut pretty deep to make it through the recession, and now we're finally back at that level, not above that level. And I think that's just an example of us being very careful about how we grow. We have a strategy to pay off the long-term debt 20 years early, and that's coming to fruition. We're positioned to take on the most noteworthy project in the city's history with the building of our new library. And we have the opportunity to do that with no increase in taxes, should the city council approve that. And we'll be talking more about that in the coming year. An important related side note is that we had no litigation in 2015, and I'm very happy for that. The bottom line is we're financially stable, and we should feel good about that, but we shouldn't celebrate that. We need to be diligent, fiscally diligent, and make sure that we're very careful with our resources. We have millions of dollars of unfunded capital projects that we need to prioritize and work on as a city. So let's feel good about our position, but we don't have too much money, but we're in a good spot. So I want to move on to some of our accomplishments from 2015. We have a great deal of positive momentum and progress on these projects. I'm going to start with infrastructure. Let me highlight that we've gone from a city that hasn't completed a major infrastructure project in decades to a city that is moving forward on infrastructure projects that we all get benefit from. There are too many projects to mention, but I'm going to mention 5. First one I want to highlight is electric vehicle charging station. It seems small, but I think it's not small. I think it's symbolic. I proposed installing EV charging stations 2 years ago and won support of the City Council. And I'm delighted that the installation is complete, and you will find them often occupied adjacent to City Hall. We are a visitor-serving community, and our EV stations put us on the map, literally. Not only can our visitors charge up, but as soon as those charging stations went live, maps around the Bay Area put a little peg to go to Half Moon Bay, visit Half Moon Bay. And when you see it there, that says, that's a modern city, that's a city I want to visit. And it's symbolic, and it's a good thing for us. And we'll make a little money there too. The second project I want to highlight is the Pillar Cedars Creek pedestrian bridge. The bridge was out, the trail was closed, everybody yelled at us. The only problem is, it wasn't our bridge. The bridge belongs to the state parks. Nobody cared, nor should they. People just wanted the bridge open. We completed what was expected to be a 5-year project in less than 2 years. The city worked with state parks, county, state, and federal agencies to get that project done. And I really want to commend staff because they juggled things and made it a priority to get that project done. Literally, state parks said, that's a 5-year project. We said, no, we need it faster. They gave us the money and said, good luck. We showed them that we could do it. We got the job done. We got it done under budget. Collaboration is a key there. That's what made it work. Renovation of MacDougal Plaza. When I was mayor in 2013, I made this a priority, and it was also a priority for the beautification committee. The park was bleak, it was walled in, and it was not the highlight of the center of our town. It's quite the opposite. If you look at the plaza now, It's gorgeous, and it really works. It's open, it's inviting, and we tested it. We had a parade and a celebration for high school students that won the championships in cross country and in football, filled the plaza with people, and it was a delight. It worked great. And we'll find out again this weekend how great it works when we have concerts in the park on Sunday, 1 to 3. This is another project. Would not have been possible without collaboration. We're working well within our community and with the beautification community to make this possible. City streets. Half Bay streets were in bad shape, and we continue to make progress on improving them. We started with the streets that could be saved and repaired them. And then we moved to streets that needed full replacement, and we're working on those now. To date, we've repaired or repaved more than 70% of the city streets. There's a measure for this called the Pavement Condition Index. Our Pavement Condition Index improved to such a degree that we received an award from the MTC. Last infrastructure project I want to highlight, we're not done with yet, but I think it's important because we made huge progress. I'm talking about the Half Moon Bay Library. We are in deep with an active project, and there's noteworthy progress. We hired a project manager, a construction manager, and a wonderful architect. There is unanimous consensus on the City Council for the direction of the library. We've sized the library appropriately for a city at 22,000 square feet. We had a lot of debate and discussion, and we all agree this is the right size for our community. It's also the size we can afford. There was an unprecedented level of outreach to the community with input from thousands on the library project. There were meetings at farmers markets, special events, just an incredible amount of input. New renderings for the library will be available soon, and I'm sure those will be coming to City Council. The final hurdle before breaking ground will be determining funding, and I hope to finalize that this year. This project, like all the others, is possible because of collaboration with the county, the library JPA, and the Career Unified Schools. We're all working together to bring this project forward. The key word here is collaboration. Think about all these projects. We could not have done these projects independently, nor should we have. We all serve the community. We do, the schools do, the county does, and we need to work together with these resources. And the way we're going to be effective serving our community is by collaborating going forward. And I expect to see more of that. And one of the projects we're going to see starting next week is another result of collaboration when we break ground on the skate park, which will be right next door. Next, I want to highlight city operations. Half Moon Bay doesn't just have notable infrastructure improvements. We're also more efficient. In addition to the improvements that I'm going to highlight, we've also adopted an approach of continuous improvements. So even when changes are made, city staff have the mindset to let's keep moving forward. How else can we improve? And that continuous improvement mindset is a real benefit for the city. It's not something you're going to see as a tangible result. It's becoming more and more a part of our culture. A few highlights from 2015. Again, I mentioned we hired city staff to fill long vacant positions. We brought in 2 city hall interns, again, to pre-recession levels. We established a procurement committee and a risk management committee, overseeing our money, our resources, and risk mitigation. We scanned myriad documents with untold number of documents to go, to scan, to make information management and storage more efficient and findable. We improved and implemented a new agenda management system, just rolled out, working out some bugs. But what this allows staff to do is to develop and route city council packets much more efficiently and get approvals internally, electronically. And for those of you who see us at the dais at city council meetings, we may have between 200 and 600 pages of documents to go through that staff prepare every 2 weeks. In addition, we've conducted training for staff, giving them the tools and the skills they need for their jobs, and also restructured the finance department, cleaned up city ordinances, and it would be inappropriate not to mention we also collaborated with other resources to tow a dead whale off our beach. We are efficient in very interesting ways. I want to acknowledge staff for their great work, helping make the city effective and efficient. So thank you to our staff. Community building and communication. Community building, civic engagement, and communication is important to bringing our city together. We work to build positive, productive relationships and trust, and we work towards solutions together. The city's weekly newsletter began last year, which brings not only quick information about city activities, but also short articles of community interest. We repost some of those items on social networks like Nextdoor as well. We also revamped our quarterly newsletter that gets mailed to each city address and included Spanish translation. We approved a community academy in both English and Spanish. The English academy will begin shortly, followed by the Spanish language community academy. This is another way for the community to foster trust, learn how the city operates, and to engage together. We fulfilled myriad public records requests. We spent significant time and money to respond to requests for information from the public. That's our duty. It's one of our obligations. We're required to do that, and we do that. It's important that we're transparent and we conduct the business of the city in an open way. And we'll continue to do that. The City Council also recently gave direction to staff to begin informing the public of the costs of public records requests. We want the public to understand that we'll fulfill all the requests, but also want them to understand the cost involved for us to do so. It's just part of our being transparent with the whole community. We acquired translation equipment and started using it for the first time last year, and I expect you'll see much more of that going forward. City Hall remained open during Night of Lights, passing out cookies and serving warm cider. As a side note, the City Council, we need to budget for more cider, because when I was walking down Main Street Director, I heard about it a lot. We are regular participants in the farmers market, creating an opportunity for the community to engage and ask us questions. And it would be remiss not to mention the ongoing work for the general plan, where the outreach was unprecedented, getting just tremendous input from hundreds of citizens on the general plan process. The bottom line is we are deeply engaged with the community, and I want to see even more of that in the coming year. The last topic about our successes from last year is about emergency preparedness. We have wet weather coming up and ongoing. It's an El Nino year, and we can expect some storms. And it's important that we're prepared as a community. Last year, we partnered with KHME Radio for an emergency generator to help keep the lines of communication open in the event of an emergency. Staff received storm preparation training, and we adopted an emergency operation plan. And lastly, we completed the drainage ditch maintenance program for the first time in 7 years that we hope will help with any flooding issues. All in all, 2015 was a very positive year for our city. And I want to acknowledge again the City Council and the staff for helping make that possible, and also the community for all of the engagement in that process. I want to move on to priorities for 2016. On Tuesday, February 9th, 2 days ago, the City Council participated in a strategic planning session. We had a retreat. We spent the whole day together. There was no fighting. I know. But we talked about the priorities for the coming year, and we worked together to help define them. We started the process. We have more work to do. I want to offer some insight into my priorities, and which the whole City Council will continue to assess as we work through our strategic plan over the coming weeks. First thing, for me, the library project. My goal is for us to break ground on the new library in 2016. I want to work hard, evaluate our alternatives, and get to that point. But I want to do so, and my goal is to do so getting past one big hurdle, which is funding. I want us to fund the new library project with no tax increase to our community. And we have opportunities to do that, and I want us to do that. I want to work with the council to closely evaluate opportunities to fund the new library with no tax increase. That is a testament to our financial stability. We can use our savings by paying off our debt 20 years early to do it, and it's unheard of. Nobody does this. What a great gift we can give to our community if we fund a new library that serves our children, our teens, our tweens, our seniors, all of us, and we pay for it with our existing budgets. That would be an amazing gift, and I hope we can accomplish that. City park equipment, maintenance, and safety. I want us, my goal is for us to do an assessment of our parks, of our equipment, and from a security perspective, and make sure our parks are safe and accessible to everybody in the community. That includes the coastal trail. Looking at apparatus, security, if we need to add cameras, whatever we need to do. I want that to be part of our strategy going forward. Illuminated crosswalks on Main Street and near our schools. All our schools. My goal is to visibly improve public safety in the most heavily used areas. I want to initiate a project in the coming year that all small children will benefit from, going to and from school, and people walking on our Main Street. To do this, I think we are already collaborating to develop grant funding from safe routes to schools. And if we need to supplement that, I want the City Council to work to supplement that. Smith Field improvements. My goal regarding Smith Field is for us to develop a playground and a t-ball area for small children. Not just for the sake of having a playground, but for safety. If anybody has gone to a Little League game at Smith Field, we know that's a busy parking lot and there's no safe area for little ones to play when there's a game going on. And I talked to the Little League coaches, and their greatest concern is that a small child will run in the parking lot and get hit by a car. I think this is a fun thing for the kids. I think it's consistent with the use of Smith Field, and I think it's important that we think about the safety of our children. I presented this to the City Council, and it's another idea that we're going to assess. Other needs around Smith Field involve irrigation, although those are not interesting, those are also important, and I presented those as well. Affordable housing. My goal is to develop a collaborative plan around a housing strategy with state and county resources. The city does not provide social services. We do not fund affordable housing. We do not fund social service programs. But we have a big role we can play in helping bring in those programs to our community, make sure that all of those resources that are available to us are accessible. So I want to work with the City Council to develop a strategy where we can bring those resources to bear and help support our around affordable housing. This is a real issue. This is a crisis issue. And on more than one occasion in the last few months, I've met with families who were forced to move. Families that have been for 10, 15 years were forced to move because they were priced out of the community that they raised their children in. And I think we need to look at that very carefully and look at ways that we can provide support. SAM, Sewer Authority. Not glamorous, not sexy, not fun. But I sit on the Sewer Authority with Vice Mayor Deborah Ruddick. The Sewer Authority is something we need to take a very careful look at. It's a huge funding drain from the city, and we need to be very careful with the resources we spend on the Sewer Authority. The sewer infrastructure is critical. Think about our sensitive habitat. We need to protect that. We have an outfall in the ocean where we release the processed water out into the ocean. But we can't waste money, and we're at risk of doing that with the Sewer Authority. I want to be very careful. My goal is for the City Council to give the directors and the SAM board a mandate for a 0% budget increase in the coming year. I would like us to be very strict about funding new projects and take a careful look at the capital infrastructure because it's old. And we have to be strict with our money, but we have to be very smart to make sure we're protecting the natural environment. The last thing I want to say, and in my notes, I didn't know what to call it. I called it One City. And it doesn't really capture it, but I'll just explain what my goal is. My goal is to generate more opportunities, create more access, and generate more inclusion from all the city residents and local government, especially the Latino community. I have zero tolerance for anything else. I've heard too many stories about people who lived here a long time. Just last fall, a woman who lived here 20 years came up to me and said, almost every day somebody reminds me, it makes me feel like this isn't my home. That's just unacceptable. In local government, we can do something about that by weaving a thread of inclusion through everything we do. We're one city, we serve one community, and that's all of Half Moon Bay, and everybody's included. And I want us to work hard and even harder to do that. We have a lot of work ahead of us in 2016. I appreciate you listening to the goals I had to share, and I hope the council will embrace them as well, and we'll work together on that. Half Moon Bay is an amazing place to live, work, and play, and I intend to strive to keep it that way. I think we're on the right track. Thank you. Good night. Please, everybody help yourself to refreshments.
Yeah, we're gonna be chopping this one. And sending in the sound. You send it in MP3, right? Yeah. I don't know if we can attach it to an email, that might be kind of great. We'll find out soon.
Yeah, it wasn't a problem last time.
You send it to me.